Hey guys, in this video I want to cover the rangefinders. Now I have two different types here. So one's actually one that you hold, and one's is, well, one that you actually mount to your firearm. And I want to cover the settings for it as well, to you can kind of get a rough idea. So starting with the one that you can attach to your firearm, if I go to, let's see, handguard accessories, I can add one right here to the top, which of course it's going to be blocked by the optic. Let me add a offset. All right, I can add one under here. So, of course, you can't see it there either. Screw it. We're adding this guy. We're adding one to here. There we go. So you can see this rangefinder is kicking off. So wherever I'm aiming, such as down in here, that's at 592 meters. This one is 426, 296, 96, and about 19. So it's adjusting automatically. However, if I head to my character, we have the other type. So this one, all I have to do for the examples is just disable the spawning of the firearms, and this actually is already plugged up. So I just press 3, here's my rangefinder, and I can aim with it. I have a little bit of zoom in it, it's up to you to kind of dictate, but if I press middle mouse, I can range my targets, and all that kind of stuff. So, what are these? Well, heck, you already know what they are, but what are all these options? So, the rangefinder laser socket. Now, this is going to be what the actual, kind of aim point, so to speak, is. So here in my rangefinder, if I head over to the mesh, load that on up, you will see I have two sockets. This one, because it's the held one, I want to be able to aim with it. So I have an aiming socket, and I have my laser socket. So this is going to be where that trace gets sent out from to get your range. So in this case, I have mine as S underscore laser, and I also have another socket somewhere in here for the actual somewhere. Here it is, the aiming portion. So S underscore aim. So that allows me to, tell where to aim through. Now, starting from the top here, we have our auto measure. So this is whether or not you want it to measure automatically. So in this case of the mounted one, you can see I have this set to true, and I want it to measure every 2 seconds. So that allows me really to just kind of, well, it's literally automatic rangefinder. You'd head to your firearm, you just kind of set it and forget it. Then you have your max distance. So what's the max range you want to be able to laser with? And what is the minimum range? So in this case, because I have it set to metric, I cannot range anything closer than 8 meters or anything farther than 1500 meters. If I set this to imperial, I cannot range this to anything closer than 8 yards or 1500 yards is my maximum. Then we have the append unit type. So if I uncheck, press 3, and at range, you can see it just says 592.6. But if I recheck it, now it'll say 592.5 m, indicating that's in meters. If I change this to imperial, then it'll change it to state yards, like so. So this is 648 yards. And then we have use upper. So this is basically whether or not the M or the Y is going to be uppercase. So you can kind of control that as well. Next up, we have, the scene. This is kind of like all the reticle stuff. So what reticle do we want to use? In this case, I have a single one, which is going to be the rangefinder reticle that I set up. Your reticle's brightness, really, you don't need to set any of this because it's a rangefinder. You're not going to be tweaking it anyways. You don't really have night vision settings and stuff like that commonly. This you can ignore for now. You again have the basics of part stats, which you can ignore because it's not attached to a firearm. Part data, same thing. Haven't bothered to set this up because it doesn't get used in that manner. And then that's really kind of the gist of it. Like the rest of this you can kind of ignore, but your rotation lag and your movement lag, you will see that this actually does have, some sway to it and stuff like that. So you can still treat this like you're aiming with a normal sight if you, so wanted to. The scene capture component I'll get into later. That'll be a separate video dedicated just to that because it's specific to optics. So now onto the actual attachment rangefinder. this has basically the exact same settings, like literally the exact same. It has no reticles or anything like that. Has no camera settings, so you don't aim with it. But I do have, part stats that I want it to give. So I want to increase the weight. I want to reduce the ergonomics a little bit, and I don't want it to tweak any of these. Then we have the part data for the firearm customization. So that's really the only difference between the two. Like, they're all set up in the same manner, and you'll see that it has no scene capture component. That is because there is nothing, you're not looking through it. There's nothing to really see, nothing magnified or anything like that. So you just kind of leave it. So you don't even have to add a scene capture component if you want it to be aimable, but not magnified. So you can set up your own kind of system however you want, just like you would like the Holo site. It's set up in the exact same manner because ultimately, anything that is derived from the part base, you can implement the interface and make it aimable. And it's really quite simple. And you don't even need to actually implement the interface to make it aimable either. You just have to override one of the functions that are built into the part base. So the interface is more or less to kind of, make other classes that you might want to make that's not derived from any of my classes and make them aimable. That's kind of the gist of it. But pretty straightforward setup. Nothing too fancy. I don't really know how to describe it. It's just kind of there for you to use however you want. So you can have your own Rangefinders. Anyways, that's going to be all for this video. If you're interested in this plugin, it'll be linked down in the description below. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to hop in my Discord that's also linked down below, and I'll try to help you out. So, I'll see you in the next video.